Hello guys and welcome to the Traitors Australia. Now I've been told that I have to watch this series by numerous people in the comment sections. Apparently it's good, apparently it's bad, apparently it's frustrating. There's a lot of mixed emotions coming out of people who have seen the whole thing. I will say please, 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 I have not seen the whole thing. I've only seen episode 1. I'm going to be doing episode review, episode review, episode review. So essentially, if you're watching a video about episode 2, bear in mind that I probably haven't seen past episode 2 until episode 3 comes out, for example. So please, please be respectful. I don't want to have it ruined for me. I've tried to avoid spoilers as best I can. So please don't be that person in the comment section. But if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff you do so well. And let's get straight into the video. So I decided to write my notes in my Big Brother book. I think it's really cool. I like it. It's got a nice pattern on it. It was, I can't remember how much it was, about a tenner from the ITV shop. I really like it. But I've written all my notes in. I've got 3 pages of notes just from how crazy this first episode was. It was 70 minutes long and it felt like it went on for ages, but also fed us with so much content that I actually can't be mad about it at all. So the introductions, that's where I'm going to start, were very interesting because this is kind of like America, the US version, the first series where they mixed normal people with celebrities. I'll be 100% honest, I do not know any of these celebrities. They're all, like, I don't know, they're all Australian celebrities, so I just don't recognise any of them. So it's not like America where I knew a couple of them, or I've known Ekin Su, do you know what I mean? But, like, yeah, I didn't know any of the celebrities. So to me, this is very much a series of civilians, because I don't know who any of them are. So I'm not necessarily pissed off that there are celebrities there because they're not celebrities to me. So no offense to anyone who is watching who is a celebrity in Australia, but like, you haven't made it to the UK yet. You're making it on this show, but like, you haven't made it in any other way. So sorry, I don't know who you are. But just a quick rundown of a few things I noticed. The changes to the show, very, very interesting. Obviously, it's filmed in Australia, which makes sense. But they have like a brand new location. It's set in a hotel. It's a lot more cheerful. I think it's got more cheerful vibes than the castle, the dingy castle that feels really claustrophobic and but also very, very vast at the same time. They are competing for silver instead of gold, which I find very, very interesting. What else have I got? They had to put masks on instead of blindfolds to stop them from knowing who the traitors were when it was being decided. They had their names on like plaques in front of them when they sat at the round table. They didn't actually for the first round table that they did, but they did for like when they sat down to decide who the traitors were, I guess, so everyone can learn each other's names. I think they should have left the names there because it means that like you don't have Harry spelling Charlotte's name like a Charlotte. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it would have been helpful to have the names there. But aside from that, not too many changes. It's still the same kind of vibe, the same game. It's just little things like the location and little tweaky bits with the round table that made it feel kind of a little bit more fresh and a little bit more exciting to watch. One thing that I noticed about this cast is that everyone, apart from like a few people, everyone seems very, very willing to backstab each other and be a traitor. It's something that I didn't necessarily notice about this series of the UK version. Some people were like, I actually physically could not be a traitor. Whereas some people were like, no, I definitely could be. Whereas like this one, everyone was like, yeah, I'm ready to lie. I'm ready to deceive. I'm ready to do all of this because I'm ready to destroy the faithful. I want to be a traitor. And I was sitting there like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then we also met Annabelle. Annabelle's like I don't want to call her a normie, but she is. She's not a celebrity. And she said that she's a Traitors super fan. She's seen every single version of the show. So she kind of knows what's going down. She's got good strategies. She knows what to look for in Traitors. She knows their kind of traits, which is good. So I think Annabelle actually could be one to watch. If she's a traitor, she could make it very far in the game. If she's a faithful, we could see her sussing out some traitors in the future. When it came to deciding the traitors, I thought the picks that they chose, is it Roger? Is that the name of the host? I think the name of the host is Roger. He decided on Sam, Blake, and Ash. Now, I'll probably have put their pictures on the screen there. But I thought this was an interesting bunch of people. Ash is obviously a celebrity, and the other two are normies. Again, I feel really bad saying it, but they are. And it seems like a very interesting dynamic. Sam, I'm worried about him. He seems like the kind of person that's gonna backstab anyone to get to the end. But I think Ash and Blake have got like a good vibe about them, and I think they would end up being quite good trainers. Traitors. So yeah, I think that's quite an interesting little mix of traitors. But I was a little surprised that there was only 3 of them. I thought they would add in a 4th one, but then again, there are only 20 people in the game, so I think adding in a 4th traitor at this point would just be overkill. That's a little bit too overpowered, if I'm being honest. So, before the challenge took place, a little bit of suspicions began to float around. Luke made it very, very clear that he's watching everyone. He feels like he's got a very good eye, and he'll be able to suss traitors out. He's watching who's talking too much, who's not talking enough. He's kind of cross-referencing things. He's talking to people. He's seeing what the vibes are from everyone, which I think is a good idea. Meanwhile, we were introduced to Paul. Paul is actually a survivor of a shark attack, which was crazy. Apparently his arm was bitten off or something. Genuinely, he told me it, and I was like, huh? Like, he was like, oh yeah, if you remember that Navy bomb diver, yeah, that was me. They got bitten by the shark. Haha, funny. And everyone was like, oh, what a funny story. Brilliant. Okay, thanks for that. And then the last little bit that I noticed in that little section was Sam talking about how he feels like he's got everyone under his spell and everyone believes he's so innocent, and I can already tell Sam's really, really gonna piss me off this series. He's given me Paul vibes, but Paul was very quiet about the fact that, like, he wasn't very sort of like, oh yeah, everyone thinks I'm a mate. Oh, everyone thinks I'm so innocent. He was very sort of like subtle about it. Sometimes he's a bit brash, but like Sam's really giving it just too much energy at the moment, and it's really, really starting to put me off him, I gotta be honest. It's time to talk about the first mission, and honestly, yeah, I really zoned out. This is what I was saying about the traitors in general, is that the missions never really feel that important because it's just to raise money, and as a viewer that's not exciting to watch. There needs to be something else that takes place during the mission, maybe like the traitors are trying to sabotage or something like that, just to make it more interesting, because otherwise it's just really dull to watch people do this kind of thing. Like this one was actually quite exciting. They had to clear debris from a track, they had to pull a Trojan horse up the hill, they had to then run down the hill, light a torch, run back up the hill, light the Trojan horse, and then let it go, trundle down the hill, bash open the gates, go into the lake. It didn't actually go into the lake, but it would have been cool if it did. So it was like a good idea for a mission, but it just felt really empty and a bit boring. And like red team, they were split into 2 teams of 10. Red team decimated blue team, which was crazy. And it just felt, yeah, just a bit disappointing. But I also have come to expect that from like Traitors missions. They're definitely different vibes when Claudia's not there screaming. I think Claudia is such a great host because she really, really fucking cares, and she's so involved in the game. And like it's like she's one of the players. She's like screaming and shouting like it's her own kids at sports day. It's so entertaining. Whereas I don't get the same vibe from Roger. Roger's very, very good at hosting and being like the enigmatic host of this kind of mystery show, but he doesn't have the same oomph that Claudia does. And maybe that's because I'm very new to seeing his kind of content, his style of hosting, and I'm very used to Claudia. But yeah, I don't think anyone can beat Claudia if I'm being 100% honest. So maybe that's it. But regardless, they managed to raise 40,000 just from this one challenge, which is crazy. Their prize total is only a maximum of 250,000. So 40 grand, that's already a decent chunk. A very, very decent chunk. Just under a sixth, I think, of the prize total they won in the first episode, which is absolutely crazy. Once the mission was over, we came back to the armory and the winning team had the chance to win a shield for one of them. Essentially, it's the same kind of vibe as season 1, where they have to go into a secret room, pick a box. If it has a shield in it, they win the shield. If it doesn't, they're up for murder tonight, I guess. So the person who managed to get the shield in the red team was Simone. Didn't even know she was on the show, if I'm being 100% honest. Until she won the shield, I was like, oh, right, this new person. Cool, I guess. But they seem to be going with the same strategy as season 1 of the Traitors. So Annabelle was like, yo, if we don't say who got the shield, the Traitors can't kill us tonight. They can't, because they'd be risking hitting someone that's going to have a shield, which means it's got to be someone from the other team. Smart strategy, if I'm being honest. And it actually, this is why I'm kind of grateful that they got rid of that in season 2 of UK, because it did kind of get to the point where it was like, oh, okay, so someone on the other team is going to go, cool, I guess. It was a little bit disappointing, I won't lie. But on the whole, a good like way of doing the shields. I do like it. It's just, yeah, it can be a bit frustrating at times, especially when they're like, oh, don't say anything. Yeah, it is what it is. Now we come to one of the more dramatic moments of the first episode, and this is a little bit of a disagreement between 3 separate people. Now we have I wrote down short-haired lady, whose name is actually Sarah, and she said, I will be voting Ash for murder. I will be voting Ash for murder, is what she said. That was the exact words she used. And then when she was called out for it, she was like, murder? And Sarah went, oh, I meant banishment. Immediately, I'm thinking, hang on a minute. How have you mucked that one up so badly? How have you mucked that one up? And then the icing on the cake is that she'd been talking to someone else and had been saying to Elias, like, oh, Payden's been saying that he thinks you're a traitor. And obviously Elias is like, what is going on? Like, Payden, what's going on? Please, I'm not a traitor. And so it's making all 3 of those people look absolutely traitorous, I guess, and looking guilty, which Sam noticed and like found out about, and they decided to use that to their advantage. I think it's absolutely fascinating that so early on they're trying to make suspicions and they're trying to clock who's being a traitor. No one's actually died yet. There's no strategy going on. You're literally making up suspicions based on absolutely nothing. So why are you making suspicions like that? I don't think anybody so far has done anything that would, or like any of the traitors have done anything that would give away that they're a traitor. So why have we not even gone to sleep yet and we're already accusing people of being traitors? Come on, grow up. So up in the Traitors Tower, the names came down to 3 people. Came down to Angelica, it came down to Elias, Payden, oh, it might have been 4 actually, Elias, Payden, Angelica, and Sarah. Don't know why Angelica was in there. Angelica seems like the weirdest person to throw in and potentially kill, but the other three all made sense, because if you take out one, it puts the other two in suspicious circumstances. If you take out Elias, it could be Sarah or Payden. If you take out Sarah, it could be the other two, etc, etc, etc. So I think that would have been the smart way to go, but they didn't. They decided to kill Angelica, which was a bit of a letdown, because like Angelica actually did nothing. I think she had 2 lines in the whole episode. She said 2 things. So she didn't do anything. So it was a little bit sad that they just decided to axe her, get rid of her, instead of taking out someone that could have potentially been a big player. I thought they were going to get rid of Sarah, because that would have been the smartest play for Ash, because obviously Sarah's going around being like, I think it's Ash, I think it's Ash, I think it's Ash. Yeah, honestly, it was a tough one from the Traitors. I think they did balls that one up. Also, we've got to talk about what the fuck Annabelle was wearing at breakfast. Honestly, I feel like she's come to the wrong show. She should be on RuPaul's Drag Race, because what was that outfit? Also, half of the people that walked in the breakfast room, I do not remember seeing the previous day. I swear they've just started throwing random people in. Who are some of these people? Honestly, when it came to the round table, I was really struggling for names. I was like, who is this? Who are you? Where did you find her? That's a little cheeky Big Brother reference for you guys there. Thought you'd enjoy that. After breakfast, it was very clear that 2 people were having to work on damage control. It was tough to watch at times. Payden was scrambling around trying to be like, no, I didn't say that. Please believe me, I'm faithful. Yeah, to this point, I like, if I was in the game, I'd be like, oh, do you know what? He's so genuinely worked up and anxious about it. He's not getting defensive. He's just been like, please. And yeah, honestly, I'd probably have believed that he was innocent and he was a faithful, because no traitor's going to that amount of lengths to try and prove that they're innocent. It was a lot. The energy was at a 10 when it needed to be at like a 5. Whereas with Sarah, she just apologised and she was like, look, I probably misheard it. What did you say, Payden? Oh, you said that? Oh, yeah, whoops, my bad. I misheard it. So the whole thing was just from Sarah gossiping and mishearing things, which is iconic, let's be honest. It's hilarious. It's so funny. But come on. You can't be making mistakes like that. You can't. Because people are gonna... Oh, yeah, it's tough. And then she starts lobbying for Ash. She starts being like, oh, I need you to vote for Ash. I'm going to bring her name up at the round table. I think she's innocent. I think she's guilty. I think she's a traitor. Based on what? She is, but like, based on what? My problem with this game is that a lot of people are just like, oh, I think this person's a traitor. Why? Oh, I just have a gut feeling. Sorry. So if I went up to someone in the street and went, oh, you're a murderer? What do you mean I'm a murderer? Oh, I've just got this gut feeling you're a murderer. What a load of rubbish. Absolute rubbish. There's gotta be something that she's done, or something she said, some action she's made, something she's done that's shifty, in order for you to make you think that. But so far, she's done fuck all. Actually done fuck all. So Sarah, why are you getting yourself so worked up over her? God, Sarah's really getting on my nerves, if you can't tell. So it's time to talk about the round table, and honestly, this round table has very, very different vibes to the UK version. It's a lot cheerier, if that's like a good way of describing it. It didn't really feel like they were in the game. It felt like there was like a moment where they laughed with Roger because Roger made a joke. Whereas, like, Claudia never gets involved. I don't think she's ever spoken during a round table, only to end it, which I thought was a weird dynamic, but it did help kind of break the tension a little bit, but then it never really regained the tension, so I guess. But rather interestingly, Roha decided to start. I really hope I'm saying his name right, because that's going to be embarrassing if I haven't. But then again, most of these people, I'm just going off of like how I heard Roger say the name, and I didn't really pay attention to Roha's name, but let's hope I'm saying it correctly. I'll probably be saying it correctly from next episode, because I'm assuming he's going to be appearing a little bit more often. But he brought up the fact that Sarah's murder comment about Ash was a little bit suspect. And obviously, I think this is the first time that Ash has heard about it. And Sarah straight up denied it. And then Roha was like, let me get my receipts out. Annabelle, did you hear her say that? Yes. Cool. And then Sarah was like, oh, I probably just misspoke. And Annabelle was like, yeah, I think she did just misspeak. So that whole murder comment was kind of wrapped up quite quickly. But Ash was just like, why? Why are you gunning for me so hard? And then Sarah started to say something, and I thought she'd finished, so Ash continued, and then Sarah went, can I finish? And I was like, whoa, what is this vendetta against Ash? This almost feels like, and this is the problem with having celebrities and civilians in the same series together, is I get the feeling that Sarah doesn't like Ash from before the show even began. She just doesn't like her. So she's just got a vendetta against her for no reason, because that was the vibes I was getting from Sarah. There's no reason for her to be so upset and angry with like Ash so early on in the series. She's done nothing that we've seen, obviously, on TV. I feel like if something big and dramatic would have happened, then we'd have seen it on TV. But we move on, and Elias was saying that Sarah might have just got muddled up, and she's guilty of nothing more than just being a bad gossip. And then he started to point the finger at Guyton, who is a trained actor. And again, it's another thing about having celebrities on. They're obviously trained to have some kind of TV appearance, or in his case, he's an actor. So it's a lot easier for them to pretend. But as he said, and I thought he actually said it rather eloquently, yes, I'm an actor, but I usually have a script. It's a completely different ballpark when I'm having to improvise if I'm playing a character. I'm not playing a character, I'm playing myself in this situation. So there's no acting going on because I am myself. Does that make sense? So yeah, on the whole, I feel like he cleared himself quite quickly, which was good. And then we moved on to Sam, bringing it right back to Sarah. The heat straight back. And I can't remember who it was, but somebody said the line, I'm not a... I think it was Sarah. She was like, I'm not a traitor. I just have a big mouth. And yeah, you do. In other words, I'm sorry, but this is now twice in one episode that you've caused drama for no reason whatsoever than just wanting to gossip and have a chat with people. So yeah, please hold off on that in the next episode, purely because otherwise you're gonna go home. At the end of the day, you're gonna be voted out because people are gonna be like, fuck this bitch. Ugh, not this one again. So yeah, just cool your jets, calm down, and you'll have a lovely time. Wonderful. Right. Oh god, my accent's going all over the globe today. We've gone Australian, we've gone Northern, we've gone London, which is where I'm from. So yeah, bear with me. So the next thing, well, actually the last thing that kind of happened in this round table was Annabelle being like, I don't think a traitor would put themselves in the center of attention. I think that's a very, very bad play for them. So let's start looking at someone who's quiet. Corinne. And as soon as she said Corinne, I was like, who? And then this face just appears, and I'm like, okay, what's your evidence? Oh, you're quiet. Oh. Now, if you'll cast your mind back to the start of this episode, I told you that Annabelle is a what's it called? Is a Traitors super fan. So she's at least seen the first series of UK. The only person that was quiet on UK that was a traitor was Alyssa. Because I've been back and I've watched it since it came out. And what's her face? Amanda, she talks during the trials. She's always talking to people. She's very out. That's why everyone warmed to her and trusted her so much. Wilf, very outspoken. Very good at acting, but very outspoken. So being quiet is not always a trait of a traitor. If you think about that same series, Meryl barely spoke. Okay? Like, what's her face never spoke? The older lady, not Amanda, I can't remember her name, but she didn't really speak that much. And you can't base your whole argument off of, oh, this person's quiet, because as we found out, Corinne is a faithful. Well, we knew Corinne was a faithful anyway, but when she was asked, oh, who do you think it is, she was like, oh, I've just been sitting back and watching. It's like, I don't know yet. And they were like, oh, how can you not know? How can you not know? It's been 2 days. We haven't even had a round table yet. We haven't even had a chance to grill the traitors. And you're telling me that I'm meant to have suspects by now. I gotta say, I feel like Corinne got absolutely shafted by people in this episode. And I feel so bad for her, because she did not deserve the treatment that she got just for saying, I don't have any suspects. Because if I was in this game at this point, I wouldn't have any suspects beyond, like, the obvious ones, like Sarah, or, like, potentially Payden. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Bore off. Oh, God, it was a tough round table to watch towards the end, because they were just piling on Corinne for no reason whatsoever. She looked like she was going to cry at one point. So, yeah, we come to the voting now, and the voting is rather telltale. Annabelle voted for Corinne, Luke voted for Sarah, Roa voted for Sarah, Ash voted for Sarah, Elias voted for Sarah, Payden voted for Corinne, Sarah voted for Corinne. That one confused me. I did not expect Sarah to vote for Corinne, considering Sarah had spent the best part of this episode being like, oh, I'm going to vote for Ash, I'm going to vote for Ash, I'm going to vote for Ash. If I was paying attention to that, that's suspicious. If I'm being 100% on it, if I was a traitor, no, if I was a faithful, and I had, and she had come to me and been like, I'm voting Ash tonight, I'm voting Ash tonight, and then I saw her vote Corinne, yeah, that's suspicious in my eyes. That's a suspect. Okay, moving on. Sam voted for Sarah, Hannah voted for Sarah, Liam voted for Corinne, Gloria voted for Corinne, Simone voted for Corinne, Paul voted for Sarah, Keith voted for Sarah, Camille voted for Corinne, Blake voted for Corinne, Ian voted for Payden, and then Corinne sealed her own fate by voting for Annabelle. Tough. And then, obviously, Guyton voted for Corinne. So the results at the end were Corinne got 9 votes, Sarah got 8, Annabelle got 1, Payden got 1. Interesting votes, I gotta be honest. Very, very interesting. There's a clear divide. And obviously, they went with the wrong one. Corinne was actually a faithful. So it was a little bit upsetting that we didn't get to see much of the aftermath of that, because it kind of cut straight to the Traitors Tower and then being like, ooh, who do we kill? But they only gave us 2 names, Elias or Annabelle. So either Elias or Annabelle are going home tomorrow. And by tomorrow I mean today, when I watch the next episode. So I'm interested to see which one of them goes. I would like to keep Annabelle around for a little bit longer, just because I think there's more to do there. Whereas I think if they kill Elias, they can set off the whole Payden, Sarah fiasco, and hope that that kind of burns itself out and takes 2 people out the game. So yeah, honestly, I'm hopeful for this series. I think there's definitely some good moments. There's a lot of filler, but there's also some really, really cool characters this series, and I am excited to see what they do with the rest of it. So thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoy, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all of that YouTube stuff that you guys are doing so well. I'm loving the support on this channel. Every single day it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and you guys are getting better and better and better. So thank you guys very, very much. So without much further ado, thank you guys for watching. Keep on ranting. Bye now.